choked on my own spit. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Extra Throttle House.
Okay, all right.
The unplanned, post-production,
scripted or anything.
nothing.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm James. Oh, hold on, I got to read from our sponsors.
We don't have any.
Oh, we don't have any.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently we're unbrandable. Yeah.
So the purpose of Extra Throttle House is for, well, extra things.
Extra things.
Yes.
As time has gone on, we've tried to make as much of a film for each car as possible.
Yes.
And in order for us to actually cover a lot of the things that we would like to cover that don't always deserve their entire film or aren't going to be watched on the main YouTube channel, that's what this channel is for.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that maybe wouldn't warrant a really long form production, just quick conversations like we're about to have right now.
Yeah, like for instance, we just dropped a GLA 35 review on just the Instagram. So that wasn't even worthy of Extra Throttle House.
You mean the car or the
car itself was not worthy of a
harsh
Extra Throttle House video. But it's in between. From that to the main channel is where everything. So we're gonna.
That was long-winded, but we're gonna move on now to the topic of the video, which is the Supra.
New Supra.
No, it's not new. Well, yes,
the 2021 Supra.
But there's a version of it that we drove.
Oh, we drove so we did our original review this year of the A90 in red
with the 2021
updates.
Yes.
And we had a similar conclusion to it that we did last time, which was feels a little bit faster, still worth the price.
Yes.
Just don't overpay for it.
Basically.
And then Toyota found it within themselves to give us the A91, which even though it sounds like an entirely new generation of Supra,
it's the same one.
It's just a blue one.
With a stripe.
With a stripe, which I actually loved.
No, it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So what we did with that instead was we took it to the Throttle House test track and I set a lap time in it. And we did some drifting, which I will overlay the shots now, yes.
It was good. It was easy to drift.
It was, because it's really tail happy.
Very tail happy.
Dangerously tail. Okay, we're going to get to that in a second, but
I think we should step back slightly.
Okay.
Because there's a lot surround.
My seat won't go any further back. I can't.
Just step back, do a little step. We're in the GLA 35. So technically it's getting...
We've been smack talking this thing and it's right in front of us. It can hear you.
Yeah. The Supra, there's this whole shroud of the public opinion on the Supra, what it should be and what it is. And I'm actually seeing a turn in events right now where everyone's like, this is rubbish, this isn't what it's supposed to be. And now you're like hearing people being like, that B58 is actually it's a tuning monster. Yeah, there's a lot to to get out of the B58. Yeah.
I actually watched a teardown of it, and it was really interesting to see how beefy that engine actually is and how much power it's going to be able to take. Well, I mean, people have tuned them already.
There you go.
You know who else tuned them? Toyota, because the power numbers are not what they appear to be.
Well, so that leads into the hot lap.
Okay, so. I did a hot lap in the car. Last year when we lapped the car, it was disappointing. And the car wasn't.
We've also drag raced it, by the way.
Yes, and it was
this
quick.
year, and it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but last year when I tried to set lap time in the car, I found that while it felt, dynamically good, and, it turned in very well, it felt like an M2 kind of, it just didn't have the mid-corner speed for me to set a fast lap time. So we brought the car out again on the same tires. They're not even PS4Ss, they're Super Sports.
Yeah, they're still using Super Sports.
They've got leftover Super Sports, I guess. And then I set a lap time. Conditions on this day were perfect. Full disclosure, they were perfect. The temperature was great.
Tires
were fresh. Yeah. So I went out and I set a lap time, and we're going to watch that right now. Okay, I've got it right here. Okay, we're going to watch this with you. You don't have to watch us watch it. You're just going to watch it.
You got to download the whole file?
I'm downloading the whole thing. Oh, this is...
So a message from our sponsors.
We didn't have
any. We don't have any. Still don't have any.
Between now
Guys, how can you not sponsor us by now? It's been 5 minutes.
Okay, here we go. All right, this is the hot lap of the Supra. Okay, going into the first corner, what I want you to watch is what my hands are doing. Yeah. My hands never shut up. Constant snaps of opposite lock because the rear just goes. Okay, going in here, I carried a lot of speed into this corner and the rear kind of floated through. And I took a little bit of a later apex just because of the nature of it. But look at this. Look at the constant on the hands of going into the infield there. And the differential is crazy. Anytime you even think about applying the throttle, it locks up. It locks up those two tires together, right? Okay, everyone says I missed that apex. I'm intentionally doing that there. It's technically taking a late apex there because this is actually a long straightaway.
It's not even marked out with red and white on that one.
No, yeah, people think you missed the apex. No, I didn't. It's intentional. Okay, I love this corner here, but
This is a fun corner.
You could see the rear just going on the car, right?
Well, this is the very sharp corner right here. This right.
Yes, yeah, it's actually sharper than you think it is. All right, now, okay, so this final corner is very long and sweeping, and you can hear the understeer start to build, as I'm starting to overheat the front tires. It's just the nature of that corner. It's just long, and it just...
That looks quick, though.
It was quick. Surprisingly quick.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, the lap's over. Okay, so there's the lap. Now, I'm going to tell you the lap time in a second. We're going to put the leaderboard up here. Pating! Just bear with me. James, entertain them while I find the lap times.
So after that, Thomas said to me, go out and set a hot lap. And I don't normally set hot laps because on those days, a lot has to happen to make days like that happen. So I end up going into this weird risk-averse mode where if we've got the footage we need, I'm like, no. I want to. No. I'd rather just Uber home at that point. Like, there's just so we're a very small channel and we take a huge risk and a huge cost on these days.
Yes.
We don't even know if our insurance is good enough. Anyway, if you're an owner watching this, it is 100%
It's
good
100%.
enough.
No, actually, no. We've got better insurance.
There are very high risk days, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And Thomas was handing me the helmet. He was like, do it.
Just go out.
And then I felt this need, and I went out, and it was ridiculously tail happy. And I put traction control on.
Well, you put it in the sportiest setting minus everything off. I drove with everything off, and because I always do it just to make sure that all the cars are always matched. But you often drive with the traction control completely off. When you review the car, your traction control's off.
Yes. But on the hot lap when I'm going 10 tenths, I just, for that moment with the risk of it, I wanted to try it. And it turns out traction control cuts the power so much.
Yes, because constantly it's trying to break traction.
It's constantly losing the rear, and you can feel that all the time.
Okay, so the lap time. Ready?
Yeah.
The Supra did a one.
Hold on. Give some context.
Okay.
What's in the area?
Okay, just give me a second to find our leaderboard because we're ill prepared for this video that you're watching right now.
But so
keep entertaining
I will
people.
say that having we just drove the M2 CS. If you haven't seen that video on the main channel, go watch it. Very cool car. That car is actually quite hard to drive. The Supra, in comparison, which is not a distant relative of the M2 CS, very related to the M240 actually, is a very easy sports car to drive, especially on the road.
You kept everyone entertained.
I think it's easy. I think there's a lot of value to having an easy to drive car, and it is much easier.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to what you were talking about. What were you talking about? The M2?
I'm talking about how great you are at driving.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so last year, the Mark V Supra did a 1:15.06 around our track.
Okay.
For context, obviously you guys can see it, but that was a little bit disappointing. It was slower than an RS3, and it shouldn't have been.
And I think that's what I got out of it, of the new one.
Yes, that was pretty much your lap time with the new one. Yeah. And I don't know, I thought it was slower than it should have been. This year, so it was with a 1:15 last year, and this year it did a 1:12.17.
It's very quick.
When I came back with that time, you're like, nope, that's wrong. It's broken.
Was that slightly behind the C8, right?
Yeah, the C8 one, that is faster than a Mustang GT PP2, so on Cup 2 tires, which is absurd. And it is just a little bit slower than an SS1LE on Cup 2 tires.
The Supra's quick. It's a quick car.
So I don't think I've ever driven a car that required more on the steering wheel than that car. And you felt it too,
right?
Right?
It's mad.
So
it was all over the place.
So to the point that the rear suspension is not where it should be. It's too bouncy. And the rear is like potentially.
Yeah, but hang on, you just said it knocked out a wicked time.
It knocked out a wicked time. I'm such an amazing driver. It knocked out a wicked time because like I just fully committed, and you saw what I had to do on the steering wheel to be able to do that. Like it was not easy at all. I just went completely balls out, went as fast as I possibly could.
But it is a fun car.
It is a fun car to a point.
To a point.
Because it starts to get, a couple other people that day drove it, a couple other people that work at Throttle House drove it, and they were a little bit afraid of it. Like, it's edgy. It's too edgy at the limit.
But then so's the M2.
The M2 is a little bit more predictable in the way that it snaps.
That class of car is the short wheelbase, rear-wheel drive.
Spiky kind of. Yeah, no, it's fun. Also, a comment, everyone's going to ask me in the comments about the bump steer. Okay, so bump steer, for those that don't know, is when you get a suspension compression on the front and it causes a steering motion of the tires, right? So the original Mark V Supra, wait, what mark are we on now?
We're on Mark V.
Okay. had really bad bump steer, and
Yeah.
apparently they fixed it this year. They haven't fixed it this year.
They also haven't fixed the buffeting.
The buffeting's bad, yeah. But yeah, no, we'll get to the buffeting.
It's an all-you-can-eat buffet.
No, but
This
yeah.
is what happens when it's not scripted.
It's not
We
scripted.
actually don't script our reviews.
Yeah,
by
everyone
the
thinks
way.
we
Here's
do.
a
We
fun
don't.
fact.
Yeah.
The only things that are scripted in the reviews are the voiceover stuff, because we actually have to read that into a microphone, and
Yeah.
then sometimes the intros,
Yeah, well, also sometimes like we'll give ourselves like a lead in to like a
Yeah.
piece to camera.
Or we'll know
outside.
we want to land on something.
Yeah, otherwise it's driving impressions and like the walk around stuff. It's just
Yeah.
us doing what we're doing right now.
That's why it's so terrible.
That's why some
You
of the
guys are
jokes
crazy.
That's why some of the jokes do not land at all, and we can't apologize because it's the way we do
Here's
it.
a fun fact: there are some videos where someone will make a joke that will end the take because it is either not suitable for YouTube, not suitable for families, and
Mostly just those
and
things.
and we know it's a take ending joke.
But we
it's so important to
specifically
us.
you can't resist the joke at all costs.
I wish I could show you guys.
The
but
joke has to come out of his mouth at
some
all
of the
times.
times they're the funniest.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it's like that's an extra Throttle House channel that you have to sign in for.
Anyway, so the Supra, good car.
It is a good car. It's not perfect. It needs
No.
a little bit more tweaking, but it is fun, and you
Fake vents.
slide it around fake vents. But I really do like it. I just think that for a performance car on the track, it needs to be it has to either have aftermarket suspension or it needs to be dialed in a little bit better. But you can't deny that it is flipping fast.
No, and the power feels very good for our track. So like, even though
Yes.
on the road something like a BRZ or a Miata's more fun,
Yeah,
they start to feel slow on a track.
yeah, and our track is perfect for that amount
Yeah,
of
the
power.
Supra feels really good on that
Yeah,
track. You get to really bring it out.
You do. Okay, so this is the moment where we have to conclude this video, and
Okay.
we haven't planned anything.
Well, I've never done this
We
video.
don't know what to
before.
do. Okay.
This is the GLA 35. Yeah.
Wait, no, this is the GLC.
No, it's the GLA.
Oh, that's right.
Thomas can't deal with names.
I can't deal with those Mercedes names.
He called me a pansy the other day. He knows my name's James.
Oh god, that's a good joke, James. Okay, so what do we do now? There's merchandise.
No, we haven't got. We have.
We do have merch.
We have.
Yeah, you can
We haven't sorted out the bet. We're going to approach the merch strategy better at some point. I don't know if you guys can tell. We're not a very revenue-focused channel.
No,
We've never done a Patreon, never done merch.
Yeah.
We've always like.
Our sponsors are minimal. They have to be car related, right?
Also, YouTube is good in that like everything we do, YouTube pays enough to make it affordable. So we don't
Yes.
need anything else. So
Yes.
we're just trying to make the best possible stuff.
Yeah.
For what we
And
can
have fun and
have
drive cool
adventure.
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When vaccines and Corona stuff ends. Well, no, when
No,
vaccines
vaccines begin
start,
and Corona ends. Yeah.
then we can go to really awesome places again.
Do actual cool,
Yeah.
location driven.
So thank you for watching the first ever Extra Throttle House
Throttle
video.
House. More of these to come. We don't know what they're going to be.
It's gonna be such a mixture of things. We were thinking of, let us know what you think. We were thinking of doing like, just because we have a really unique perspective of cars before a lot of people get them, and we have our equipment. We were doing point of view drives, so
Oh yeah.
the ability to just see how the new GLA 35 or any actual good car
Sounds and looks.
sounds and looks on a POV.
Why did you just throw another rinse in there?
No, we're trying to be nice to this car.
We're trying to be nice to it. Yeah. Also, we were thinking I think we're gonna do a car of the year. Is that a thing?
Oh, we're going to do car of the year.
Yeah.
We're going to do car of the year.
Well, I've said it now, so we have to do it.
Yes, we'll do a sit down car of the year.
Yeah, similar to this, but about the car of the year.
Yeah.
It's not the Supra.
All right, we're going to go film an intro right now
Because the
that
sun
involves
is setting.
Thomas being covered in leaves.
In leaves and sitting in the forest crying.
Crying about BMWs.
Yes.
That will make sense at some point.
It might not.